Why not, everyone? Let's talk about the Oakland Raiders. We are getting into football season, so I figured why not go through several of these teams in the NFL and kind of break them down and have a discussion on the teams and where we think they will land in fall. Makes a lot of sense. I live in Las Vegas, so why not start with the Raiders? Plus, they played yesterday, and they were in a very dominant fashion with all things displayed. Josh Jacobs had a incredible game for them for the limited run that he played, but the Raiders, there's a lot of questions on where will they land as far as the record-wise. Are they kind of on the outside looking in? Because they have an incredible team, especially on the offensive end. I mean, they are stacked with, Derek Carr, obviously, at quarterback. You got Devonte Adams, which was a new acquisition from the Green Bay Packers, and he has a relationship with Derek Carr, which is great. You got, again, Josh Jacobs, who I mentioned a moment ago. Darren Waller is only going to get better. I mean, he really turned into a big star for them. Hunter Renfrow. I mean, they even acquired Chandler Jones on the defensive end. So, I mean, this team is stacked front to back. They really do. They have quite the team on both sides of the ball, and they, in any circumstance, would usually be a lock for the playoffs. But unfortunately, they are playing in a ridiculously stacked AFC West. I mean, seriously. You have the Denver Broncos, who ended up getting Russell Wilson. They're a very good young team, and we'll talk about them maybe next. Let me know down in the comment section if that's the next team you want me to talk about. But the Chargers improved in many areas that they were lacking in, and they got a great young quarterback. And then, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs are the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's pretty crazy to think that Derek Carr, as great as he is, a very likely Hall of Famer, at least I think he is, and that's usually the consensus. He should be a Hall of Famer. You're talking him being the fourth best quarterback in this division. That is, again, ridiculous. And all of these teams are stacked. The dog fight that this is going to be in this AFC West is going to be insane. I don't think I can think of a division ever in the history of football that is this stacked front to back. I mean, there have been some pretty tough divisions, but seriously, any four of these teams could easily be on the odd man out. And any four of these teams, you could make a legitimate argument to potentially winning a Super Bowl. I mean, Kansas City is still Kansas City. Do they take a step back? Do they regress a little bit? Because they've played a ton of games and gone on an historic run in many ways with Patrick Mahomes and just this Kansas City Chiefs team. So do they take a step back? They lost Tyreek Hill. So the big question is like, hey, can they keep up the pace that they have in the previous years? Time and wear and tear and just, the competitive nature of making it to Super Bowls and, these dogfights with the Buffalo Bills, stuff like that. Like, is it something that is eventually going to catch up with them? That's a big question. The Chargers, as great as they have been, as great as their quarterback is, are they a team that's going to, underperform again? We saw that a lot last year. They were supposed to be a playoff team last year and just got carried away late in games and started losing and would make terrible decisions and would turn the ball over and just weren't able to close and execute games. And so will that pattern repeat this year? And then for the Denver Broncos, is Russell Wilson a guy that is still that dude? Personally, I don't think he's a guy that can carry a team on his shoulders anymore. I do think he's still, an incredible quarterback, an incredible quarterback talent. But is he a guy that's going to be able to essentially carry these Denver Broncos? And I'm not saying the Denver Broncos have a terrible team or they're, a bunch of nobodies. No, they have a very good team. But how good is Russell Wilson going to be this season? He's very hyped. He's very excited. Again, we'll dive more into Denver very shortly. But it's something that is at least worth a conversation. Each of these teams you can make an argument for as to why they would drop out in favor of the Raiders. The Raiders are going to be hungry. They're going to be motivated. You got Josh McDaniels, a new head coach who has plenty of experience and a guy that's going to make the proper adjustments, and he has the weapons to be successful. Seriously. And this team is going to live and die by Derek Carr. How great will Derek Carr be? And I do think he is great. I think he is an amazing quarterback. The ability to be able to, come back from behind late in games, I think is going to be huge for this Raiders team. Their offensive arsenal is insane. I think they're going to put up a ton of points. Question is, how is their defense going to be? They did upgrade their defense. They do have a solid defensive lineup, but are they good enough to be a legit contender? And are they good enough to make it into the playoffs in this just ridiculously stacked AFC West? Now, again, the Raiders, they are a team that I think could make a lot of noise. I think they are a team that's going to be a tough out night in and night out. But somebody is going to be the odd man out. And many people think it's going to be the Raiders. Now, with the relationship of Derek Carr and Devonte Adams, I think that is huge because now you don't have that downtime of trying to make a connection, right? Having Devonte Adams, who is one of the top receivers in this league, who many people think is the best receiver in this league, to have somebody of that caliber, and be able to immediately have chemistry, immediately be able to have that connection, not have to get accustomed to each other is huge. Because we've seen star receivers go to other quarterbacks and you kind of have that feeling out period, right? You kind of have those handful of games where they're getting comfortable with each other, trying to find the right spots, this, that, and the other. I think that this is huge because you don't have to do that. They have an incredible receiving core. And I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up winning this division. As crazy as that might sound to some people, I'm serious. I just think that they have the offensive weaponry. They have the arsenal that they need to just put up points on the board. I don't think this team is going to have any struggle scoring the ball. I think they have an incredible tight end package. They got an incredible receiving package. They got some great backs that are going to be able to interchange and run different play schemes and styles. It's going to, I believe, fall on Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels putting the proper play sets in place and the defense. Can the defense get stops? Last year, the Raiders defense showed moments where they looked like they had the potential to be great defensively. And then they had moments where they just couldn't stop anybody. And the lack of consistency, I think, is a big issue. If they can kind of clear up that lack of consistency, then I do think the Raiders could be one of the best teams. Because, again, there's so much concern with the Kansas City Chiefs. How much of an impact is losing Tyreek Hill going to be on that team? Like, that was Patrick Mahomes' bailout guy, right? That was the guy that Patrick Mahomes could just throw the ball in the air and he would just go get it. I'm going to throw the ball 70 yards and he's just going to get it. The Kansas City Chiefs lost a lot of that explosiveness that they had. You were almost guaranteed a touchdown just on Tyreek Hill, right? Every game, there was at least that one play in the game where Patrick Mahomes throws a 70-yard dart to Tyreek Hill. He catches it, and it's an easy 7. Like, that's just how it was. And now they don't have that. So now they're not going to have that bailout play. They're not going to have those huge explosive plays that they're used to. And I think that just time is going to eventually catch up with them. Not saying that they're a bad team, not saying that they're not a contender, but we've seen it with teams in all sports, right? When you have a team that is just competing every single year for championships and you're in Super Bowls and then you have all that wear and tear on the team, it catches up with you over time. And it usually takes a couple years to kind of get back into it. I mean, even the Patriots, Tom Brady, that dynasty, they had several dynasties, but there were year gaps where they weren't, they were getting eliminated early. There were gaps where there were times when they didn't even make the playoffs, right? And it's one of those things. And they weren't playing in a division like the Raiders and the Chiefs and the Chargers and the Broncos are. I think that the Broncos are another big question that I really believe. If I had to guess, I would say the Broncos or the Raiders are going to be the odd ones out. I think the Chargers will take a big step. I think the Chargers really sewed up a lot of their holes and a lot of their flaws that this team had. And I think that they're ready to take the next step. I don't think that they're a contender yet, but I do think they are at least a playoff team. And the Chiefs, as much as I think they will take a step back and they will regress, I don't know if they'll go that far back to where they will be out of the playoffs entirely. I just, you can't count out the Chiefs and you can't count out Patrick Mahomes. As much as a part of me feels like this just seems like the season that the Chiefs are the odd man looking out. It just kind of feels like that to me. But I don't want to put them in that conversation just because they haven't proved otherwise. All they've proven is that year in and year out, they're a Super Bowl contending team. And so that to me boils down to the Raiders and the Broncos. And I just don't think the Broncos have enough to be better than the Raiders. Now, schedule is a big thing. There's a lot of things that go into that. But I just think the Raiders have all the pieces right now to get into the playoffs and make some noise. Like if you could jump in a time machine and you came back and you were like, the Raiders just won the Super Bowl this year, I wouldn't call you crazy. I would be like, that's interesting. Like how, but I wouldn't be like, no way, I don't believe that. Like this team, I believe, at least on the offensive side, has more than enough firepower to win a Super Bowl. They have a, Hall of Fame quarterback. They have the receivers. They have the running backs. They have everything you could want as far as this team goes. And they upgraded defensively. I think that they upgraded their line. They've done everything that they need to kind of put themselves in a position to be a legit team this season. And I really think that they will be. I really do. I think that this team is going to be in the conversation. I think this team could really surprise some people. And I think we could be looking back and going, man, that Raiders team was really good this year. And so I do, if I'm going to give a playoff or bust, I would say playoffs. I think they're a team that will squeak into the playoffs. I think they're a team that has enough to get into the playoffs. I think it might be tight. I think it might be close. But I do think that they get to the playoffs. I still kind of feel like the Broncos may be the odd man out. But again, we'll dive more into that. Maybe I'll change my mind once I break down and kind of dive into Denver a little further. But in the meantime, until that video, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think of the Raiders? Do you think, they're a playoff team? Even in the ridiculous AFC West, they're good. They're fine. They're going to make the playoffs. They have enough firepower. They made enough upgrades on the defensive end. They're going to be there. They're going to be one of those teams that are in. Which team do you think is the odd man out? Which team do you think is the team that out of the four that is not going to make the playoffs? Do you think it's the Chargers? Do you agree with me that it's the Broncos? Do you think that it's the Chiefs? Again, I really want to put the Chiefs there, but I just can't. I can't. Patrick Mahomes, I just think he's an incredible talent. I think this team is still good enough, but it wouldn't shock me. Like if come playoff time, the Chiefs aren't in the playoffs, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Again, jump in your time machine, let me know. But yeah, however you feel about the Raiders this year, again, let me know what you think. I definitely will try to catch some Raider games this year. Maybe we'll do some live streams and have some fun because I do live in Vegas. So why not go to a couple Raider games and enjoy it and make some bets on the Raiders and we'll have a good time at the game. But other than that, what do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.